Hi, this is Mark Dombrowski with True Resolve Tax Professionals. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is an edition which is new for us. It is an actual live testimonial from one of our clients. This young lady hails from the New York City area. Her name is Beatrice. And Beatrice, why don't you say hello for everybody out there in YouTube land?
Hello, everyone out there in YouTube land. Happy to join you today.
So Beatrice is available on phone right now. Fortunately, I don't have the capacity to bring her on video at this point, maybe one day. But let's begin here. Beatrice, how did you find us on the internet? How did you find us?
So I was at YouTube, really on Google and YouTube, searching for resources about how to file back taxes, how to start that process, how to have conversations with the IRS, how to find out what penalties I owe, and really just trying to get as much information as possible so that I could get things settled with my tax debt. And I knew I possibly had some refunds, but definitely knew that I owed the IRS,
Mm-hmm.
as well as like my state. I'm in New Jersey. And I reached this place where I think through COVID and through having time to finally kind of sit still and kind of reassess, I alleviated and kind of got rid of those initial steps of fear that had held me back. Because when I contacted you, I had several years of back taxes, and the video that I saw that you did was talking about that this happens, the IRS knows that this happens, that's why they put things in place to
Right.
mitigate it. And I'm excited to do this testimonial because I feel like a huge weight has been lifted off my shoulder, because at the point that I contacted you and your team to help me with my back taxes, I was 8 years in.
Mm-hmm. Right, and okay, and thank you very much. In that said, I've had testimonials. I've been doing this for over 27 years, and I've had testimonials in print, published on a website, in newsletters that we sent out, in different things, on blog posts. But I've never had a live testimonial, and obviously, this is because of the modern day where we are in 2021, and we've got the ability to do these things with Zoom or all the other things for YouTube. So this is really awesome. And I agree. Obviously, I agree with you when it comes to fear, the fear that a potential client has to pick up that phone. That is what, when I'm talking to the other staff members and I'm talking to them about talking to a client, it was Monday. Now, Mondays I play soccer, and I have to get out of here. Very rare. I get out of here right at 5 o'clock. I had a client call through, and I could see them calling on the caller ID on my phone a couple times. I took down the phone number, and on my way to soccer, I called this individual, and just to just to alleviate their fear for that night, what I
Yeah.
tell people is I sell sleep. Okay? Yeah, because it's like for that individual who received a certified notice, an LT11, that individual, they definitely going to lose some sleep. Anytime they call 2 or 3 times in a row trying to leave messages and the staff is gone and it's Eastern Standard Time, this gentleman happened to be in Southern California outside LA. I could have just ignored it. I could have called him the next morning, but that's not me. I got on the phone and I said, just, hey, what's going on? I can't help you right now. And I don't have your case file open. And actually, with modern technology, I could have stopped at soccer and pulled up my phone and looked at his case,
Right,
his old
right.
case, because he actually was a reoccurring client. So, all right. So, enough of him. So, your fear, once overcome, and that's an important part. How did you find interacting on the first level when you initially contacted us? How did you find interacting with us to help alleviate that fear?
Oh, okay. Well, first, I think I watched easily 20 videos on your page. So I kind of felt like I knew you and felt a little safe. But here's what I did before I contacted you. So
Okay.
saw the videos, and I said, I think I should reach out to them because they seem to know their stuff, and they actually seem like they actually care and aren't just trying to trying to make a buck. I saw the comments that were replied to in the YouTube channel, and so then I went to your Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
I looked on either Google reviews or Yelp reviews or something like that, so I saw good things mentioned there. I put in probably True Resolve tax scam to like make sure that you weren't on somebody's like scam site or anything like
That's
that.
funny
So
because
after I did my little
that's
due
what I tell
diligence
people.
there.
That's what I tell people is to put in the name of the company and then scam and see if anything comes up, so that when you're
Exactly.
going
Yes,
looking at these
exactly.
people.
So once I did all that and didn't see anything, and in fact just the opposite, started to feel even more confident because of the following on the YouTube channel as well as on Facebook. I said, okay, let me reach out, because at the end of several of the videos you said, give us a call, initial conversation, consultation, it's free. So what have I got to lose? So I contacted you, and I contacted probably another 4 or 5 tax accounting firms.
Okay.
What I loved about when I reached out to you all is you responded right away. You either talked to me that same day or you made an appointment the very next day to speak with me. Spoke to me for an hour, but here's what I loved. It wasn't how long has it been since you filed taxes? Well, how much do you think you owe? Okay, well, why haven't you filed? Like all the things that were going on in my head.
Mm-hmm.
In the conversations that I had, there was not this posturing to put more fear on me. It was just the opposite. It was, well, you know what? This happens all the time. It's not a reflection of who you are as a person. It's not a reflection of your character. And
Right.
I think when I heard that coming from an accountant on the other end, it burst my heart open, because the part of the fear that I had was that I was so out of compliance with my taxes that I felt that there was there was that sense of fear, but also that sense of worthiness, like, oh, how'd you let yourself get so far off? You should know better than that, because you're supposed to be, I have a business, and it's like, you're a business owner, who would want to work with you because you've been so negligent in your own personal finances. So there are all these demons that come at you. And so
Right.
then being on the phone and hearing just the opposite, oh, so you owe this, but this is why the IRS has programs and has ways for you to have this resolved, because things happen, life happens, and you're human. And that was refreshing, because I had a few conversations with a few other people, and some of the responses that I got were, oh, well, we're not looking at any new cases right now because we're really busy for the year, so we can put you on the calendar and we'll have to reach back out to you.
Wow.
One other firm I spoke with was, oh, okay, well, you haven't filed in a real long time. You're going to owe a lot of money, so we need to get you in this office as soon as possible, because the longer it takes for you to get this resolved, the more you're going to owe. So, you know what, how about we send over a contract right now, because the truth is they can come for you. Just trying to give me more fear.
Right.
Fortunately, I didn't go with,
those other people.
one, I knew enough about what was holding me back and who I was, and I had observed enough of like your YouTube channel and other things that were going on to know that that wasn't the thing that would resolve this for me, because
Right.
the last thing I wanted was to feel more guilt and more shame. And so, in speaking with your team, it was like, oh, well, this happened, so here's what we can do. We can start by helping you to get all the paperwork together that you need to have this resolved. And then we just are going to start to, nip away at it. And we'll be able to get this handled for you within a matter of weeks, if not within a couple of months, and you'll be cleared. And then all you have to do is work to resolve what the final output is. And we don't know what that is yet, because there's lots of things that we know inside the law that TurboTax can't tell you, because I tried that as well. I think when I first fell behind about 2 or 3 years, many years ago, I tried, let me see if I could figure it out on my own with an online software because I thought, well, TurboTax can probably help me. Oh, well, I could just go on and, use a free tax software to see how much I owe and then mail it in. But none of those systems were able to help me understand either the simplicity or the complication. And I didn't want to make a mistake, so I held off.
Right. And then
And
that snowballs then, right?
exactly. And then, one year, kind of, because I want people who, in particular, might have been in the situation that I was in. Like the first year that I missed filing my taxes was because I had just restructured my business. So I had just gone from being just a sole proprietorship to being, an entity.
Okay.
And then from that, I didn't know how to do taxes correct that first year. So I did them wrong. And then I ended up owing a lot because I did them wrong. And the following year, because I didn't want to get them wrong, I didn't do it. And then I contacted someone and they didn't have time. And then 1 year turned into 2 years. And then 2 years later, I had a medical situation. So then that got put on the shelf. And then the following year, I was like, oh, now there's 3 or 4 years, how to figure it out. And life just kept getting in the way.
Yeah, life goes on. And
The
and you're not, as you're just going back to what you said a couple minutes ago, you are not a bad person. And I agree, that's such a good way that you put it, that it's the demons and it's the things you feel. I have a lot of clients who are financial planners. I have people who are accountants, and we joke around the office sometimes. You're like, hey, financial planner, but they're people like everybody else, whether you're somebody who is it was in a profession that what might be ignorant of tax laws. Let's just, not to single anybody out, let's say a plumber. Plumber in their industry are not people who are on the ball when it comes to taxes, finances, and laws. They know their stuff and they're good at what they do. So you're as you're developing you're gathering information, you're looking at your options, you've contacted us, we're going through trying to make you feel better and try to get you into a situation. What I tell the staff, and how I like when I do an initial interview, I don't like to prejudge that the client's going to be somebody. It could be a client to us. So what I do, and I'll say this, I'm not going to not pay my mortgage next month whether a client signs or not. What that does for me and for the staff here is that we can take an intelligent look at their case without the stress of a salesman who's not going to eat if he doesn't kill his prey during that phone call. So it sets a whole different dynamic between us, you as a potential client, and us as the professional to say, let's get the information, see what this person's situation roughly is in the first phone call, how we can help them, and then give them a quote for what our fees would be. So I interrupted you a little bit. You had a little process of what you were going from, but as we got started in the process, how did you feel as we went from potential client to client and moving through?
I felt empowered.
It's a good word.
Because I didn't have to think about much. Once I started with you, it was just following direction. And it was just like Simon says, give us this piece of paper. Simon says, go and scan this, this document that you were sent. And it was just, it took all of that research that I had been doing before contacting you, when I said, oh, I did all this research, and what's the right firm, and what are the steps that I need, or even what drove me to your YouTube channel, let me watch all that I need to know about filing back taxes. I didn't need to know any of that stuff anymore. So it took a huge amount of time out of my life and gave it back to me, because all I had to do was follow the instructions. Okay, send us this paperwork, send us these details, take a look and review these things. Let's hop on a call. Contact us if you have any questions. If I had a question, I could send an email. If I had a question, I could pick up the phone, and someone would always be there to pick up the phone and reply to me and connect with me, which is, I think, especially like in our days of like COVID and
Yeah.
everyone being not in an office, was just a joy that my phone. I don't think I ever went into voicemail during business hours. Someone always picked up the phone, and if I couldn't speak to the team member that I was working with, someone else was able to tell me when they'd be able to get back to me. So that kind of also gave me a lot of confidence about how my account was being handled.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to this place of feeling fear and trepidation and confusion and insecurity to feeling very empowered to feeling a bit of a reset, mentally, emotionally, socially, to be able to no longer be in that tunnel of confusion and guilt. So
now
good.
I hope we also made you feel as though you're a part of the team of your own resolution.
Yes. Well, that's kind of what I mean when I say empowered. Like I felt like I was in the driver's seat, but I had this great pit crew with me, helping me to like drive and go in the right direction. It's like I had this awesome GPS navigation system telling me, take a left here and then go a mile and then go over the bridge in the right-hand lane because there's an accident to the left. Like just like having guidance. I had guidance.
Right.
And
Tax
every
GPS.
decision, despite what was submitted, was mine. Okay, we could do this or we could do that. Typically, there's this. And if I had a question that cropped up that couldn't be answered on the spot, it was always, you know what, I'm going to, go to Mark, or I'm going to go to the team, going to get the answer that you need and then come back to you, and always did. So always followed through on their word.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you. I mean, these are great things to hear. Now, did you have any advice for anyone who is in your situation who hasn't picked up the phone yet or emailed somebody or something like that?
Yes. My advice would be to send an email to connect with your team.
Okay.
Or pick up the phone and call and make an appointment and just have the conversation. Because by having a conversation, you'll be able to know whether to move forward or not. And you may be pleasantly surprised at, you're more afraid of the thing you don't know than the thing you do know. So you may be pleasantly surprised. Like I was surprised after all was said and done, once I had those years of tax work done, that 2 of those years I received a huge refund. And I wouldn't have even imagined that I'd be getting some money back from my tax liabilities and, because of the lateness and penalty and everything else. So I think it's like when you are paralyzed by fear of the unknown, there's a way out. And the way out is as simple as a conversation. And the conversation I had with your team member wasn't, let's see if we can tell her as much as we can so that she can go with us. It was, let's hear where she's at, what she's dealing with. We'll tell her how we can help, and then the decision is on her. There was no hard sale like when you go to a car sales lot. It was all about, here's what we can do, here's what that will look like. We're here for you. Let us know if you'd like to proceed or not. It was like no strings attached. They gave me their time with no strings attached.
Right. I tell clients all the time, listen, because it's difficult. You're giving someone who you don't know your social security number, name, address, and everything. And I say, listen, you're under no obligation to us until you give me money. You're under no obligation to us. So you will know when you sign up with us because you've given us some fees. You've signed a power of attorney or a tax authorization letter, an 8821. So is there anything else you want to share with the tax owing public that is out there?
There's 2 things that I would say. The first is, I've never met you or any of the team members. I'm not in your state. And so I think it says a lot that from watching something on the internet and then connecting with you, that I can entrust everything about who I am, my name, my social security number, where I live, my finances, all that stuff to you without meeting you. It takes a huge amount of trust. And I felt confident the moment I did it and still feel confident where you're just my team going forward for death and taxes, the one things you have to handle. As far as the tax bit, you all are my team. And I think the other thing that I would want to let people know is the tax piece for me was a small piece of uh, disconnection in my life. Once
Right.
I was able to clear that process, I really feel that there's been a reset in everything in my life. It like took this part of me that was fragile and fractured and made me whole again, because I didn't know it at the time, but it bled into everything else in my life. It bled into the way that I made financial decisions, the relationships that I connected with, how much I'd reveal in those relationships, whether it was friends or family, whatever. There was all these things that it bled into. It bled into how I
Viewed
showed
yourself,
up in the
right?
world. Yeah, and I feel like I'm back to being the person that I believe myself to be, and that I endeavor to be, and that I'm back on track to the growth of the woman that I endeavor to be year after year after year. So it's about more than writing that check and paying that tax bill. It's about everything from going to the grocery store to chatting with a friend to going to dinner and to answering honestly when someone says, "How are you?" Something as simple as, "Oh, how are you?" It's like you compartmentalize and put things on the shelf, and I can say, "You know what, I'm good. I'm doing really good," and actually mean it.
That is amazing. That is incredible. It's I have never, again, I've had literally thousands and thousands of interviews with individuals who owe the IRS, who have businesses or don't have businesses. And I don't think I ever put it into the context of like something I know for me personally, when sometimes events happen and you get stressed and you do things to your body that you think are unrelated, but you have a backache. It's stress. You're giving yourself headaches, or it's giving yourself something. After 9/11, I had a horrible backache and x-rays and different things. There's nothing wrong with your back. It was stress. It was psychosomatic after 9/11, where I was giving myself this pain. And so just like that, once I was able to identify the pain and relieve that pain, then I felt so much better in my life and other things that I did. And that's a little different because it's physical pain. And it wasn't like I was walking with a brace or anything or limping around all day. It was just a thrumming in the back of my lower back. But I can see how that would relate to a client with their back tax situation, getting that situation in front of them, resolved, being part of that resolution to one day. And it does take time. It does take a lot of time for these situations. I make the joke that it's like, well, it took you 15 years to get here. We're not going to do it in 3 weeks.
Exactly.
We're going to take time. So,
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're over 23 minutes here, and I think the average YouTube listener listens for 3 minutes.
Well, we shall see.
But hopefully people listen. What it will be. It inherently, people watch, like Amanda was the old True Resolve face, and she did the YouTube videos, and she's a lot better look at. Let me just say it this way: she's a lot better look at than me. And this will be like my #1 video. Watch the videos I did for 10 minutes that nobody watches past 5 minutes. This video, the one that you're in, is gonna be the video that everybody watches all 25 minutes, and it's my most watched video, which is awesome and great. And I thank you. I really do want to thank you for helping me. I'm gonna give me a quick second here. I am going to pause the video real quick. Okay, so what in closing, I did want to say thank you very much, Beatrice, for your help here. You actually, in some ways, you forced me to do this in a very positive way. I've had clients where we've asked for referral letters, asked for testimonials, all that stuff, and they'll give them, and you got to hound them and stuff. This young lady hounded me to do this YouTube video. That's great. You made me do the right thing in producing this video, which is awesome. The more content we have, the better, and obviously this is a great thing. If you do want to contact us at True Resolve, the number is 720-319-8954. 720 is the area code, 319 8954. And we are located in Buffalo, New York. I know that is obviously a Colorado phone number, but with the magic of modern technology,
It doesn't matter
right, it
where you are.
doesn't matter where you are. All right, Beatrice, thank you again very, very much for all your help. And hopefully, I was in New Jersey Thursday, Friday, Saturday last week. I was in Belmar with one of my friends, two of my friends that are other EAs, tax professionals, and we were watching a seminar. And one of my wife's favorite cousin is in Lebanon. So I love New Jersey. I've been to all 21 county seats of New Jersey. They're all so. I mean, some people can say they've been to, I don't know, Greece. Well, I've been to all 21 county records and deeds offices in the state of New Jersey. That and $1.20 will get you coffee, I guess. Okay. Well,
I'm very grateful for True Resolve Tax, Mark. I'm so grateful, and so that's why I wanted to do this. So when I received the email, like, oh, would you like to give feedback? I said, oh, I need the rest of the YouTube community to know about this because that's how I found you, and people need to know that, there is a way out. There's a light at the end of that tunnel, and they can be on a train toward the light.
Thank you very much. Have a good day, and everybody out there, hey, contact us if you have any issues, and we'll walk you through it just like we helped good Beatrice here. Thank you very much. All right, bye-bye.
Bye.